Day. Welcome all. Sunday the 20th of June 2021, in case you forgot the year. 9:30 GMT. Got myself and brother Gansders in the house. Let me clear the throne. Share the live feed to the domains. How are you, Gansders? Do you want to come in and help me out a minute while I share?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I've been having a vacation here a couple of days. It's been well needed, so to say. It is not that I'm working my ass off, but I have ME that I have to work with too. So, yeah, so you have to relax.
You have to relax. Yeah, you do indeed.
Yeah,
Take each day as it comes, yeah?
exactly. But it's been wonderful weather here in Sweden now, 30 degrees, and really nice, and a cool breeze from the ocean. That's perfect.
How close are you to the sea?
About 2 kilometers
All right,
to
okay.
the Baltic Sea.
That's good. Do you get many birds?
Yeah, there are loads of birds here. Kites, eagles, yeah, all sorts of birds here. And in the winter time too, because we are feeding them. So you get all those small, nice ones.
Okay, yeah. That's good then. It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Brother Phil's just joined us, I believe.
Welcome, Phil.
I think I've let him in. Just sharing it. Sharing the feed. Bear with.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, easy. Nice one. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hello, Phil.
How you doing, Anders?
Just fine. Hanging around here in the hammock.
So you're a bit scratchy on your sound, Anders.
Yes, I know that, but that's my headset that I have to use when I'm outside. But I promise I'm not going to speak very much.
Thanks for joining, Phil.
As long as you promise, Anders.
He's a man of his word. His word is his bond. Sorting out the display. How are you, Phil? What have you got to say? What's going on?
Not much really. I've had a good day. Just had a good day. Some nice food. Bit of time with my mum. Yeah, so getting somewhere with communication. It's difficult, but anyway, good stuff.
I'll just give a shout out to all the scribes and say Happy Father's Day for any ones that are in that position. Easy lovers, fly on the wall. Long time no see. Thanks for joining. Happy Dad's Day. That's it. I've done the
And
sharing.
to you too, David. Happy Dad's Day to you too, David.
Grazie, mille grazie. Thank you very much. I've been quiet for a couple of weeks. This channel has, because since I shared a video that was going around the Telegram chats of a man that decided to spontaneously interview Dominic Cummings on the street. YouTube channel or YouTube moderators decided to take that down as it went against the guidelines of the community here. And so I was given another badge of honor, and you could call it that, by having the channel access to broadcast restricted for a couple of weeks due to going against the mainstream narrative, of which I thought was a little bit wrong, but there you go. That's why it's been quiet. I'm glad to be back. They have their rules and policy.
What did you think about the interview you was doing with that lady?
That lady, Sister Beth.
Yes, Sister Beth.
I think it was concise and to the point. I've had a look at some of her channel's interviews and presentations and intellectuals that have gone on there. She's got quite a broad collection of souls, minds, and I think on contrast, there's a clear distinction of what we do, how we do it, how we view ourselves, how we use the areas of law, various areas, multiple areas of the law, and what we do, how we do it, how we correct certain, implied, mandated, assumed positions, and what we use, what we do on a whole is different compared to the rest of the realm. Some have got similar views, but she's a calm, logical mind. She's got a lot of experience in various areas, and when she went into language and the Sanskrit and how that sat, the vibrations of the language, that interested me quite a bit. I think I was quite reserved, and I handled the chat room well with the various questions that came up, and referencing sovereign citizens and stating the oxymoronic nature of that statement, and ones that say, sovereign citizens are not logical thinking minds, to put it politely. When you're mixing oil and water, you're mixing a jurisdiction of sovereign, private, and citizen, public. So I put that correction in, a much needed correction for those that don't know how to separate the two jurisdictions, or the status of moving from public to private. By saying you're a sovereign citizen, you're saying you're a private public. So I've enjoyed doing that, and how we do that, going into the maxims of the 10 commercial maxims of law and their biblical Abrahamic precepts that come with that, contrasting that to the 20 equitable maxims, legal equitable maxims, and how and why that's needed to move jurisdictions, and retention and asserting rights, and how you do that, managing status, standing, and capacity, if claims have any validity, how to accept a claim and keep in honour and put the burden of proof back on the claimant, bringing in Pontius Pilate and the clean hands doctrine with regards to we can find no fault with Jesus, but we're going to crucify him anyway. I wash my hands of the matter. So I think there were the channel, the scribes, Beth herself was quite bamboozled, for one type of a point, to describe how I go on and what I do. And I try to keep things short and concise, but inevitably I do take them on a journey, the interviewers, the viewership, the scribes, and you need to recognize that there's a lot of, not you, but people, man's souls initiates need to recognize there's a lot of areas that we've researched in, and this has not been an overnight happening. It goes back. We start at 033, 1 CE or AD, CE Common Era, and then we move to 33 at the point of Crusade fiction, and then we move across to the 300s and 80s, 4th century, 3rd, 4th century, the canonization of the New Testament, and then the comparatives to that book, to law and how law is, quoting scriptures and verses, fathers, sons, witnesses, and sovereignty again. In commerce, the truth is sovereign. We are truth. So if we are truth and truth is sovereign in legal land, then we can present to be sovereign in a legal capacity. Analysing governments, and governments being corporations, and the Parliament and Congress. You know, I went and did both areas of the pond, international and home terra firma for us here, England, United Kingdom of Great Britain, the new Republic of Brighton, where the private sovereigns reside. So I enjoy the parables and the multifaceted areas of law, language, religion, you know, metaphysical, physical, and I think they'll be having me back for more meetings with the minds of her. Is it King's Hero Summit, having the actual marking of David is wearing the king crown as a representation for my attachment to my bond towards my queen. So yeah, the syncretism, the synchronization, the intent, the feedback, overall, I think they loved it. We went into Universal Declaration of Human Rights, persons and humans, God, creating man, man creating government, government creating persons, a little bit of Latin, and for 2 hours, I think they had more than enough. I'm excited to have expanded our presence across the pond, and told them we've got things that, you know, we can help them with.
Yeah, I think you are really professional now, because you take it so easy. No, good, well-trained media guy.
Thank you, bro. It's been a long time coming. If those that have been on this channel as a scribe from the beginning, or however long, I hope you will have noticed how the governor, David, has changed, and how we do things. So it's yeah, it has been a long time coming, and it's all falling into place now. The hard work is paying off. What else we got in the chat room? CD, BLK 95, Anesu, Anton, Trevor, Fly, G-Man, Sister Lisa, Jonesy. Good to be back. Welcome. Happy Father's Day.
Oh, I have to say, Lisa, I love you.
We love all. We love the channel supporters, aka members. That would be Anesu, I think, who's in here at the moment. We have some good news. We're going to celebrate with a little bit of 5,000 scribes, you know, recognition. It's been a long time coming. We'll get into that later. We're going to give you an update as to regards to what we've been doing. Case law, we are dripping in case law, I might say. Let me just try changing my camera, see if that makes it any clearer. No, it doesn't. It takes me away. All right then. I've got a USB camera in. That seems a little blurry, but as long as the audio's good. You got anything you might want to broach or say, Brother Phil? Anything on your mind? Anything? Any topics? Let's go for that for now. No pressure, my man. It's all good. Check. He's still here. There he's here. He's listening in the background. So what can I tell you to update you? I can tell you that we got some case law for DWP. that we've put into the domain. That's very interesting. It's very articulate what we have there. We've got some case law for the right to remain silent, why we do that, the burden of proof, rights to silence, case law has been posted up. We've got a report regarding benefits and beneficiaries of that, and councils, public offices sanctioning, disallowing money, and we will bring that to you another time, but this is just a little bit of an update as to where we are and what we've got. That's made it worse, I see. Okay, I'll try that way. So DWP in the format of case law for councils and officers and how they operate. We may have some good news from a recent tribunal from a private supporter that's waiting on her feedback from that administrative process. The report I'll give you another time, but I'm just letting you know what's going to come in the next week. Also, I've got some time. I'll be on again this week coming, so watch out for your notifications, and I'll go through that with you. Been on to see Beth, the King's Hero Summit, and we're going back to Rice TV, Kevin and I. So I'm going to take Kevin across the pond to see brother Chris, and we're going to splash down there. And yeah, I'll give you the rights to silence, burden of proof. For those at law that make a claim are obligated to provide the burden of proof. So when we say you have the, good Lord, that's made it even worse. Sorry about this, everybody. The rights to silence. Looks like if you're watching it that you might be out of focus and drunk. I've made it totally worse. Many of you know why we say the rights to silence, and the burden of proof being on the claimant, keeping the liability on the claimant, conditionally accepting charges, and why we conditionally accept equity doesn't aid a volunteer, and the caution over here. Now, I won't try and recite the Miranda rights for America because I'm not exactly sure what they are. So let me just keep tweaking this. The rights to silence with regards to an arrest that you may get, an officer or a DC constable, whichever it is, generally an officer, will make an arrest, and they will read you certain rights there with regards to, you have the right to remain silent. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do say may be used in the court of law as evidence against you. Anything that you do not say now, which you later rely upon in court, may not be given. So you have to be careful what you say, how you accept that. And if you're familiar with that, then you'll understand what I'm saying. So you could basically, you're not told that anything you do say may be used as a defense in order to defend these claims against you. They want you to inform upon yourself. So these are unalienable rights. These are rights given to you at law. And we've got some issues to talk about there, because anybody that is making a claim in a civil matter, not a criminal matter, but with regards to offences, they will call them criminal offences, but there's your second oxymoron of the show. It's either criminal and there's a victim, or it's an offence on statutory common laws of the land, the acts and statutes, and there'll be some administration that needs to be done. So how you present initially, who you say you are, have you got anything upon your person of which we need to be aware of? Well, your person would be in a 2D format, possibly on a vehicle of some sort, like a driver's license or some form of legally recognised identity. And you would proceed, give me your date of birth. Well, ships are birthed. Man would have a birthday or a born day, as we say. So there's your second red flag. my date of birth is hearsay. I have childhood amnesia. I'm not able to tell you my date of birth. Then we've got another problem where man is born, say, on the 1st of January 1970, but you might be registered on the 15th of January 1970. So the person and the citizenship is created on the 15th of January 1970, but most of us give a date of birth instead of the birthday, and we will say the 1st of Jan 1970, but actually that's not what they're asking. They're asking for the person, because by them saying, have you got anything on your person that we need to be aware of before we search you after the arrest and then take you to be detained as the person, but they're taking man, you see. So there's a lot of language, oxymoronic statements and mix up. They're taking the flesh and the blood sentient man and they're attaching the man via joinder, as most of you know it, and taking the man and attaching them to the person. But then they may want to take DNA or fingerprint evidence later at the station for further identity of man, flesh and blood, corporeal, sovereign, you know, private self. And they process with the paperwork the name, date of birth, surname. So there's a mixing of fiction and reality. Then whatever you say, they will use as evidence against you in a court of law. Well, when they say law, what law are they actually on about there? Whatever you do say is going to do their job for them. So if there is a claim, we used to say that there is no comment. No comment is used as a deferred answer. So you've still answered in a way, and it might imply you've got something to hide. So no contract, no consent, or keeping totally silent and letting them present the material facts of the matter and the burden of proof that lies upon the claimant, those that have arrested you for whatever issue it is. And the conditional acceptance, you know, is better than saying, you know, no, I don't know anything about it, in denial. And admittance means that you're then going to be liable for whatever it is by saying sorry, apologizing, and you know, this is a civil matter, remember, where there's no victim. And the third, other than denial or acceptance, is a conditional acceptance and asking them to prove them, you know, whatever the claim is. And so therefore you can conditionally accept there is a controversy and you're willing to deal with that controversy, but they've got to lay the facts on the table. And so when we say equity doesn't aid a volunteer, that can be put in many ways. You volunteer information, you volunteer a name, you volunteer to partake in these proceedings. So there's a lot of areas that volunteer comes into. If you'd like to look at Hagens versus Levine, 415-US 0.533, as a living human being, man, we have rights. My rights are not subject to statutory control. My rights are such as existed by the law of the land. The law of the land would be common law, the Abrahamic laws, common law, the social common law, not the common laws of Congress and Parliament, government, etc. They are long antecedent to organisation of the state. And then there's a quote, "He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights." The second part of case law for rights to silence is Hale versus Henkel, and that's 201-US 0.43 at 47 brackets 1905. Judicial discretion has no validity when there is positive law. Number two, judicial discretion cannot overturn common law or statutory law. And number three, whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and oppression, that human rights should be and are protected by international law and subsequent ratified international treaties and accords. So you have a lot of areas to look at for protection of silence. And I'll continue on. So common law, the evidential rule which places a burden of proof on the prosecution that they should prove the defendant's guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And that would be Woolington, Woolington, Woolington versus Delta Papa Papa, 1935, Alpha Charlie 462. Woolington principle is a cornerstone of criminal law in England now. So I've given you 2 American citations previously. So that's a principal cornerstone of criminal law in England. Such a presumption of innocence means that there is no obligation on the accused to produce evidence or to testify, would you believe? An accused person involved in a criminal investigation has traditionally been accorded a right to silence, sometimes termed a privilege against self-incrimination. The right to silence provides a number of safeguards to those suspected and accused of crime. These include: 1, that the accused is under no general duty to assist the police with their inquiries. Some of you may be going, Rice versus Connolly, 1966, David, and you would be correct in that. Number 2, no adverse inferences were generally permitted to be drawn from the exercise of the right to silence, either by a suspect under investigation, and you can reference Hall versus Arthur Romeo, 1971, or by an accused person at his trial, Section 1B of the Criminal Evidence Act, 1898. Number 3, the fact that the accused is not a compelled witness at trial. Statutory encroachment. In recent times, statutory provision has encroached upon the right of silence, and it's got a clause here, A, financial investigations. For example, a person who refuses to answer the questions of investigators examining various commercial or financial activity can incur a penalty. In Saunders versus UK, 1997, 23, Echo Hotel Romeo Romeo 313. The European Court of Human Rights held that a right to a fair trial was contravened where evidence obtained by these methods was used at trial. Section 59 of the Youth Justice Criminal Evidence Act 1999 and Schedule 3 respond to the decision in Saunders versus UK. So that's man versus government when you see it, name versus UK, that way around. Normally it's UK versus Saunders, but in Saunders versus UK, by restricting the use which can be made of evidence obtained under compulsion under a variety of statutory provisions, including Section 434 of the Companies Act 1985. And I've got paragraphs. I'm going to stop there. There is absolutely, when I say we're dripping in case law, that's me coming out with chest pumped up like a bulletproof vest. You know, like there's just too much. Okay, I've got lots more case law, lots more human rights, lots more to say on that. But those of you that are in the domain, if you just scroll through the activity, you will find that in the rights to silence, Fifth Amendment, burden of proof, case law, and in the forum, International Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Fundamental Unalienable Rights. That was 13 days ago. Then we've got, as there's us three on here at the minute, I'll carry on. Neil, Neale versus Delta Papa Papa. And that's the 23rd of February 2021. It's a brand new case law. It's only 3 months old. Neil versus DPP, the right to silence, citizens' duties and coronavirus regulations. So it goes into Keith Neal's conviction for obstructing a police officer was quashed by the High Court sitting in Cardiff in an important judgment on the right to silence. I'm going to leave it there. All right. So there is pages of Neil versus DPP and why you have the rights to silence. And this is us fighting back. But as I say, we're not violent. We don't promote violence. We're not here to vexate, aggravate, intimidate. We originate. What we do is we collect up, you know, you can keep your Magna Cartas, you can keep the actual previous common law areas that we've gone down the road of. You can keep the Constitution, and we shall continue on with what we do. Each is free to choose. You know, I'm not giving legal advice here. I'm actually articulating substance over the form. So when you hear us say we use the substance over the form, and we go for the things that actually work, that are recognized, that are enforceable, that will hold the establishment and the ones that are not following the judicial process, let alone due process, and that are I believe there's investigations into the police at the moment, into the rank and file officers, and they've been in the news again, using their positions for sexual gains. Not a pleasure to say that, but there's a lot in the news at the moment regarding the police, the Cressida Dick, the commissioners of crime, parliamentary issues. We have second-tier legislation, emergency second-tier legislation still in effect right now regarding coronavirus enforcements. We had Lord Sumpton come out a year ago and put his commentary upon this secondary legislation, emergency legislation, that the government, parliament have sat back on their asses, took the money and done nothing. The opposition leader, Keir Starmer, has sat back on his ass and done nothing. He hasn't been in opposition, you know, so I'll leave it there. You see what we're doing here as the sovereigns and how we represent and what we do. That's why we present what we present, and we say we have a Masters Guild key competence. That's why I'm giving this away, and how we present our position, status, standing and capacity. We use the news, we use the Lord's reports, we use what the Lord say, Lord Sumpton, we use what the Parliament are not doing or doing, and we just bring that to you to say what's going on. We have DWP case law from various sites that's pages long, which is loads of it to do with councils and sanctions and denial to the beneficiaries of your benefits. We have a report regarding paper-based assessments, and we can show you and tell you where that comes from in their own legislation. So I'll stop there and just take a breath a minute and have a look at the chat room, because we're in a very strong, happy place right now. All right. Boys, have you got out? You want to reflect on that? Anders or Phil, over to you. Hello, is there anybody there? Moscow, hello Moscow, come in. I'll talk to the chat room then. What's happening? We're still on. Anders has disappeared, so it's me and Phil. He'll be back in a minute. Right, let's see where we got to. Fly's been sanctioned on a lot of media. Okay. Sorry to hear that, Fly. Sovereign citizens are those of the off-ISIS. Parliament think they claim to be sovereign. The Queen claims to be sovereign, but they're not actually truly sovereign. They've awarded themselves them titles. You're in a public state, such as, and not in your original capacity. To paraphrase, then you're not sovereign. There's the lady known as Elizabeth, and then there's QE2. QE2 is not really a sovereign status or even capacity, is it? So Lisa's in the same club as Fly. We've all been in that club. Consider it a badge of honor. My mantra of late: intellectualize, polarize, and spiritualize. I like that, Lisa. Thank you for that. That's how it rolls off the tongue. Andy, ciao. Yes, fam. Lisa loves Anders. Back. Tilly, channel supporter. Much love. Thank you. Good evening. What? Could I please talk about the DWP? I'll find you some bits. I'll be back and I will talk about that, and I'll highlight a video on it, and I'll do a screen share. I invited some of our Telegram admins to come on and have a chat with me this evening, and it was going just to be off the cuff, casual, 5,000 scribes celebratory cast, out of jail after 2 weeks, and a hello to you, chin chin. Mickey Finn. Let me just see. That's why they're called rights and not wrongs. Yes, Angie G. I like that. Volunteer, volition, vulnerability. Yes, I, Lisa. Agreed. Sustained. Here. Jerry, should watch Never Talk to Police by Regent University School of Law. Very good and entertaining on YouTube. Don't mind if I do, G. Citizens have duties and obligations. Indeed, they do. They don't have much zen either of the city. The city does not have any zen. Nature and natural environments have the zen, not the cities. Data Protection Officer course free, Derby AC UK short course. What? Clicking on that now, Albert. GDPR Data Protection Officer skills brought by Derby AC. Is this to do with the university? Book now. 20-hour course. Open. Duration 3 units, up to 8 hours of study per unit. Which reminds me. Let me just scroll back up. I think I might be able to do a screen share with you. Get my blurred, ugly mug off the screen a minute, and I'll show you the latest edition you've requested. We have listened. The governor has listened. 1 minute there. Let me just get my buttons right, and I'll show you what we're going to do here. I'm going to show you the next installment, which is gratis, complimentary for your key competence learning. Let's get it on there. So you're going to see in a minute the data protection screen that Brother Anders has, Brother Albert has just, sorry, getting Albert and Anders mixed up. They begin with A. Let me just check that that's working. And then I'm going to show you some new free complimentary gratis courses that supplement your bronze level key competence Sovereign Masters Guild. Yeah, that's working. Fab dabby dozy. All right, so GDPR Data Protection Officer skills, that's just a link. It is the University of Derby. How coincidental. Mama Julietta used to reside there in the law department. So shout going out to Derby, the University of. Let me
How is it with Mother Julietta? Is she a member of this bar association?
How dare you? How very dare you, gangsters?
I've been thinking a lot about that question.
She was just a graduate and then did a LLB and certain other areas of training for law, and then decided to work the way up with regards to her professional career. And then she ended up being making a coursework for the lecturers to lecture law. So that's as much as she has been involved with regards to the legal sector. You're working at a university, creating courses and doing miscarriages of justice and asserting women's rights. You know, back in the 80s, there wasn't such thing as recognised domestic violence. It was a domestic disturbance, and there wasn't so much done. So she entered into that area initially, and she just worked at a university, I'm happy to say. Yes, she was nowhere near the bar. If you focus on your screens here, you will now see the header from, let me just go back to show you how you'd get there. So on the menu screen here, you've got your selections, home, activity, news, forums, library, courses, videos, and store. You click courses. The workshops and guides, the boats have courses, so we are going to change that, but that's the generic plugin language for what it is. It's just technical speak, but they're promoted as courses through the software. All right, so we call them workshops and guides. Now it's decided to hang. I'll press it again. G-star, we got a problem. Seem to be. Let me try news. Oh, there we go. It's gone in. So we got the first one, conditional acceptance workshop guide, not finished, for review only, work in progress. So he says, welcome to your complimentary bronze key competence workshop guide, information only regarding conditional acceptance and how to conditionally accept any and all offers with your unalienable rights retained and reserved. I am the author of that. The next course, second one along, questions for a judge, banker, bench, robe, arbiter. Bench is Latin, a translation into banker, I believe. So these are got disclaimers within them. There is no legal advice here. As per the disclaimer on the homepage, we're not solicitors, we're not members of the bar, as Albert has just asked, Anders has just asked there. The next course here, signing without assuming public liability and affording autographs, all unalienable rights retained. We have an NHS England GDPR non-consent data sharing selling notice of instruction, and then the original stop and search officer trustee interaction scenario. So some of you have been asking, once you get our notices for consideration and the paperwork that we have within the library, more details about what you're doing and so I click on conditional acceptance workshop guide, even though it's not finished, and I go to signing without liability. So you have the welcome at the top, conditional acceptance, and we go to the first one. You click view. You got your disclaimer and caveat. It's not a substitute for legal advice. I don't need to read all of that. You can see that on the screen and it's self-explanatory. So let me just check. Yeah, that's all good. We scroll down. It's just, you know, that disclaimer. So you've got a button at the top. It says next lesson. So I've done these short and concise. G-Stars initially installed the software, and then I've been the man to program in the actual text and the course layout itself. So after the disclaimer, you've got an introduction. What is a conditional acceptance? One can choose one of the following: to either, one, accept the claims and charges with full public liability. It's your choice. You can consider number two, to deny, reject the claims and charges and face the consequences of the controversies. Or you can select number three. It is to conditionally accept the claims and charges. That keeps you with clean hands and you will stay in honour, puts the liability and the burden of proof back on the claimant. So it's like a game of hot potato at this stage. To me, to you, to me, to you. You are free to choose any one of the above. A conditional acceptance puts the liability upon the claimant and keeps you with what is known as clean hands and lets you stay in honour. One is required to know, is the offer a legal and commercial contract agreement? When one is presented with a pre-written set of terms and conditions that are constructed by the offeree to you, then plain and simple, it is not a contract, it's a constructed agreement. We go into construct terminology, public and private agreements. For a contract or any agreement that comes under English law to be formed lawfully or legally, there are 8 essential elements to them. There must be the following: 1, on offer. 2, acceptance. 3, sufficient consideration. 4, capacity to contract. 5, intention to enter legal relations. 6, legality of purpose. 7, genuine consent. And 8, certainty of terms, variable in the Oxford Dictionary. So when I go into what is a signature, it's viewed as your consideration. So short and sweet, so then you get a bit more backing to why we do the 3-letter conditional acceptance and why we take the steps that we do. You've got step 1 there, down the side here to the left. You can see all of the references and the steps in this. So when I say we've got case law, there's quite a lot of case law, all right, to back this up. You had a principle, the principality of the source of energy and credit, that the public agents, secretaries, ministers, generals, prime minister, etc., are trustees, principals, PLE, and executives in office of the Queen's government of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. And for those that are unsure about principle, principality, I've got the Oxford and Latin and Cambridge references and KJV, okay, link in there for you to click as direct link in our forum, as it says there. And we've got pages and pages of what a principle is, etymological references, the doctrines, principle, PAL and principle. We've got the dictionary sources of principle and fundamentals of principles, 1550 in the meaning defined above, history and etymological references. We've got Latin references and originations of principle. We've got, look at this, how far it goes down. Look at this, how much work I've put into my research for principle and principality, and vocabulary, implied meanings and definitions. And we've got, skim past that. We've got some here, which is Webster's Revised Unabridged Dictionary, and principality and principle, and that's quite an in-depth bit there. And then we go straight, carry on. Oh, sorry, I've got biblical ones now. Concordance, principle, 28 occurrences, Mark 21, Luke 1947, Acts again, all the way down, Exodus, yeah, a couple from Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Kings, Chronicles. You see what I've done here? And so the PAL is found in the bibliocentric heliotheque, and I've gone further down with more KJV Bible, codified handbook, principality and principle. And look what we've got here. Number 1, sovereignty, supreme power. 2, a prince, 1 invested with sovereignty, Titus 3. Number 3, the territory of a prince, or the country which gives title to a prince, of the Principality of Wales. 4, superiority, predominance, little used. 5, in scripture, royal state or attire, Jeremiah 13. And then we got the sources and everything like that for the relevant links. Principality. So put a lot of work into this, and then you'll find we've got semantics, and we've got a layout of a conditional notice of conditional acceptance here under GDPR, doing a DSAR under GDPR, or a SAR, the Office of Fair Trading, the Financial Conduct Authority, conditionally accepting the account, putting it into serious dispute. So, you know, you go next lesson. There's an awful lot of work gone into this to explain it to you, and to references. Then I've gone into case law references, burden of proof upon claimant, your rights to silence, the Fifth Amendment, including human rights. There's your Hagens versus Levine, I mentioned earlier, that top bit. And there's your Hale versus Henkel, the second bit that I mentioned. And I've got a little bit of a video there, which is the 2 papas at law, the 1-minute video. Shut the FC UK up Friday, that I like to play every Friday. I think most of you will have seen that. So you're liking what you're seeing, all right? You've got references again. Look how much case law and references and human rights I've put into this. Sections, Criminal Justice Public Order Act, European Convention of Human Rights. The ECHR recognises a right to remain silent during police questioning in John Murray versus UK 1966, as I mentioned. Look at all this case law. There's more case law there. Okay, mischief. Continued on next lesson. So this is for free. This is your gratis, complimentary for 12 credits in the year. All right, this isn't an extra bolt on. This isn't a VIP area. This is just the governor getting tired of repeating himself and giving you the basic key fundamental principles of your fundamental rights, and how the more case law, all of this. This is case law, and this is all referencing to, and it carries on. Oh, another case law there, Beckles, UK. I know there's unconscionable channel owners that will be trying to screenshot this and use it, or be on the site that will take it and then make out it's theirs, which is why I'm getting you lot to notarize and witness what we have and how we've got it. So when it echoes out across the channels and in further YouTube areas and the Facebooks and other domains, you see why we lead the game and why we're in front there and what we do. This is all case law still, by the way. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. You know, I know there's a lot. I'm not reading all that out. All right. And we're still working our way through the course, next lesson. So that's 2.1. I believe there is up to 2.3, 2.6, 2.7. So there's 7 pages of appendixes and case laws and references and citations, English, American, European, biblical. All right. And we've got statutory, we've got law. We've got it all for you waiting. All right. So pages again, it goes all the way down there. Continued on next lesson. Can't even get my words out. I'm that excited to present this. So failure to account for objects, substances, marks and presence, section 36 and 37 Criminal Justice Act and Public Order Act 1994. Where a person is arrested by a constable, there is on his person, you see, there we go, or in or on his clothing or footwear. So we go through again, we go through the subjects, we go through the subsections of the Magistrates Courts Act, there it is, got it, 1980. All right, we go into more case law. Colin Wells is the reference there in that particular legal case. Section 6 of the Criminal Justice Act 1987. We got paragraph 5 of Schedule 6 of the Criminal Justice Act 1991. And it goes on, it just goes on. All right. So when I say we're dripping in it, and I know you're waiting for DWP, I'll get out of this. I've done my bit there and I've showed you what it's about. So I hope you are duly impressed with our diligence and what's going on there. I'll stop screen sharing just for a moment. I'll put it on the screen. It's respectable. Anders or Philip, have you got any comments on that?
No, the only thing I can say is that the website looks really professional now.
It's very concise. I mean, I'm only a newbie. I've got a lot to get through, but it's good teaching.
There's not much room for maneuver with that little lot, is there?
Beauty.
And it's a step up from Magna Carta, common law, Constitution, America and England. You know, we've got a lot that we can universally use between us. That
Checkmate.
you see how we do it. We have a different way of operating there, of executing, and just get into this page. I'm not screen sharing now, so yeah, we'll find what I need to. Thank you for your comments there. It's much appreciated. There's a lot of work goes into this, and it's hard to then obviously transfer it from this landmass to other land masses and use that. So you see why we use what we use, because then we're not in America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, or anywhere else. So it's we can with confidence say that this is what works and why it works and how it's recognized, how it's enforceable. And yeah, there isn't, what we call this is case and point there. So it's just a summarization. I can't go through it all. There's far too much of it. Go back to screen share. DWP, or the sister that asked for some DWP referencing. This is part of the 5,000 scribes celebration giveaway. When I've put giveaway, this is what I'm giving you to have a look at, to entice you to come and support our community. I have more good news yet as well. All right, so I'm stringing it out. We won't be here all night, but this was given by a sister called Charlotte. That's all I'm allowed to say. It's a post by me. 5th of June, some time ago. As I said, I've been away for 14 days, plus the 5 makes 19. It's the 20th today. So this is the earliest opportunity I can give you this. So after the sanctioning or the badge of honor from Tube, saying that I'm no longer allowed to cast as Indi Glow for 2 weeks for involving Dominic Cummings in the public domain. So these are, this is entitled Case Law for Benefits, DWP, Atos, Capita, Maximus, and Agencies. What I've got here is court decision summaries, as it says there. Can I, here we go. These decision summaries are free for you to download. We committed to providing free information on this website. We are a small charity. I've sourced where this is from. It's not our own work. It was given to us. We are a small charity, and if you are able to make a donation to help cover costs of research and updating, it would make a big difference. It's similar to what we say and how we execute and what we do. And then we've got decisions are listed under subject headings: attention in connection with bodily functions, benefit cap, benefits abroad, claiming, council tax reduction scheme. We've got lots of areas. All right, so attention in connection with bodily functions, Batty, Secretary of State for Work and Pensions versus June Batty, RE attendance allowance, help with getting drinks which were carried to the claimant, and attention in connection with bodily functions. Monia versus Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, formerly against the Social Security Commissioner. Appellant, the disability living allowance disability test involves looking at the whole 9-month period. The cooking test is a theoretical meal. Benefit caps, DA and others versus Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. This Court of Appeal decision allows a DWP against an earlier High Court decision which found that the rules applying benefit cap to lone parents with children under 2 was unlawful. The Court of Appeal have allowed a further appeal to Supreme Court. Hurley and others versus Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. This High Court decision finds that the benefit cap is unlawful because it discriminates against those entitled to carers allowance who provide care to relatives such as a parent or grandparent or disabled child 18 or over. You've got benefits abroad, Commission of the European Committees versus the European Parliament and the Council. I don't know what that council is. I'd have to look into that a bit more in detail, but DLA, Disability Living Allowance Care Component, AA, and carers allowance should be paid to people who move from the UK to another country within the European Economic Area. Look at this. Look, I'm not going to go through it. Oh, council tax. We'll carry on. Council tax disability reduction scheme. Hanson, the Queen, on the application of Hanson, who was the claimant, versus Middlesbrough Borough Council, 2006, where a property had been specially modified to give a second bathroom to meet special needs. You see, what we've done is given you a summarization, because if you watch, if I go down this page, look at all of what there is. Look how much data there is here. There's just pages of it, case law and references and healthcare professional. It just goes on, and I'm halfway down it. Look, so what I can do is this. This is a bit better for you. Watch this go. When I say we're dripping in case law, I'm not just bigging it up. This is just ridiculous. I'll stop it there. Measuring quality in PIP. A key factor in getting fair, objective and consistent outcomes is having high quality assessments. The National Audit Office and Public Accounts Committee noted in 2015 the high level of C-grade reports recorded through the audit process. The providers accepted at the Public Accounts Committee that the current situation was not acceptable and committed to improving it. The number of C-grade reports was trending downwards at the time of that inquiry. Let me try and find paper-based assessments, paper, see if that's on this page. All right, I'm just doing my control and searching. Oh, that's in another part of the domain. That's in a report. All right, so that's just one little section that we've updated recently with regards to government legislation, high courts, Secretary of State, PIP, how they work it, new claims. Yeah, I'll have to get another page up for that and give you that that report. There we go. Second independent, what you need to look for is the Gray's report on DuckDuck or another search engine, the GRAYS report. And I've got the Word attachment in this post. Okay, then if I've done that, bear with me. Let me go Control F, paper, 1 second. Paper. Let's see what that brings up if it is in here. Oh, there we go. Observations of paper-based face-to-face assessments undertaken by both Atos and Capita. Number 9, the provision of further evidence is important as it can help inform the assessment provider's initial consideration of needs and in some cases may enable a paper-based assessment and avoid the need for the claimant to undergo a face-to-face assessment. However, there are numerous challenges in effectively obtaining further evidence faced both by individuals before they submit a claim and by assessment providers when they receive it. We go again, section 12. An assessment provider can try to obtain further evidence, but the review has concluded from its observation that this is successful in relatively few cases. The main exception is where the potential is seen to carry out a paper-based assessment if the submitted evidence can be adequately enhanced or validated by some phone calls. Once it has been decided, a face-to-face assessment is needed, even if further evidence in writing is requested. Delays in obtaining it mean it may not arrive by the time of that assessment. What do I mean by a paper-based assessment? Where they give you the option to have a telephone call or a face-to-face assessment by an administrator who isn't a medical professional. They may be some kind of administrator, secretary, non-licensed, medically trained, not even a GP, lower than a GP. So what you're volunteering to do is to hand over your healthcare to somebody who is significantly less qualified than a GP and a nurse. They're an administrating secretary that aren't legally, let me think, medically insured. Okay, these are all facts, YouTube moderators. So, you would then require that the DWP, PIP, Atos, Maxima, but generally Maximus, generally the Department for Work and Pensions, is telling you that you've been invited to attend via another company, which isn't the Department for Work and Pensions, and it's another company which you may involve yourself with. You didn't sign up to a contract with this new company when you made your initial claim. When you made your initial claim, you may have provided evidences from doctors, consultants, and actual medical licensed healthcare medical professionals, and they've got that on file. And what they want to do is to try to get you into a position where they no longer have to look after you, it seems. Ian Duncan Smith and his knighthood the other year for doing great work and sanctioning, people have been appealing on these decisions where they've been told they're fit to go to work after having these assessments voluntarily. Assessment, not medical examination, and assessment by an administrator, and they've died from their illnesses whilst waiting for the results. So that shows you This is all in the news, and we've got more case law to follow on this. We can back up what we're saying. So when you say you want your paper-based assessment and you're not well enough to face this non-medical, non-licensed, non-doctor, GP, surgeon, this administrative healthcare, a healthcare is not medical, it's a healthcare assessment then, roughly. I hope, Kevin, I'm getting this right. And you would say, I refer you to my papers, much like we say to the judge or the arbiter in the courtroom, I refer you to my paperwork. And then you can look through the paperwork to have, you don't deviate from the subject matter. The subject matter is you've put in a claim, you're not very well, you've got backing from the medical licensed practitioners and doctors and surgeons and consultants, and they've got that on file. To ask them to refer to your paperwork. Is it mandatory? Well, no, it isn't mandatory to have that assessment. So you volunteer into it, you see. So this is where the fairness that we promote to the claimants or the beneficiaries to have openness, and the reviews that are done generally aren't in your favor. So let me just go back. That was number 12, paper-based. This is number 21 of the Gray's report. So you get that Gray's report, okay, and you read through that, or you come to see us and you join our community for 12 promises a year, and we will sort you right out. Well, brother Kevin will, because he's the one that's trained me up and provided. Kevin and Charlotte have provided these 2 bits of information that's basically this long. Watch this. I know it's boring, but it's just good to show you. When we say we got substance over the form, this is how long it actually is. It will take a good couple of minutes to scroll through that. And there's something in there for everybody, you know, references, case law, review, inquiry, policy, procedure, legislation, in amongst what I've already told you, in amongst what Kevin and I have discussed, and Kevin and Golden G have brought to the forefront with regards to how you would manage your situation and the offer that's given to you. The Department for Work and Pensions are not the government. They're a private corporation, you know, that are separate from the government, that are appointed by the healthcare ministers. Ministers appoint the agencies. The agencies then appoint Atos, Maximus, Capita, and then they give, you know, and it goes down the tree. Everybody's taking a slice of the money. Okay, so coming to the end now, thankfully, and it finishes there. And I have referenced all of, there we go, the http www.gov.uk, and you've got the government response to the consultation on disability allowance reform. Links there, HMG, government response to the consultation on disability living allowance reform, again, different sections on that going down. Number 9, Parliament UK Business Publications, written questions, answers, statement, written statement in the House of Commons. The reviewer is the chair of Social Security Advisory Committee. However, he is not playing any role in the SSACS considerations of these changes to avoid any conflict of interest. Number 11 is legislation.gov.uk, section 89, and more government, workplacepensions.gov.uk, skillsforcecare.org, standards, legislation, care act, learning material. These are all the sources of where this has derived its information and reasoning, and the statements and the uploads. And there's quite a lot what we've put in there. Then I've uploaded the actual attachment, which is called the second independent report of the Personal Independence Payment Assessment, Paul Gray. And you can click that and download it, or you can find it for yourself online for free. And then the first bit, just bear with me and then I'm finishing, is source disabilityrightsuk.org. So if you look for disabilityrightsuk.org, how we can help benefits, information, law pages, case summaries, court decision summaries, that's where that's got universal credit and the case law that I begged you at the beginning. All right, so we've been busy while we've been offline for 2 weeks, let me tell you. Proper
Yes.
bow.
And I also want to say that it is really important that we get in some donations now, because this is also the results of these donations. that we can make good websites. We can put it up in a form that it's easy to understand it and everything. So please, if there is somebody that have a couple of euros over or something, we need money now to expand here and to grow. So yep, that's it.
We need the lions and the lambs to come together. Thank you, Anders. Yes. So that leads me on. That's the perfect segue to lead me on to what we're going to say next as part of this celebration of 5,000 scribes and moving forward. We have now, yes, something rather amazing to say, that a kind soul has stepped forward and said they'd like to help us move forward, and they've got a long-term plan with regards to, you know, if we could put it like this, to start up some kind of private-based land acquisition where we, the trust, would benefit from this land, and we would invite you down for some kind of recreational time, private, you know, help in areas of physical, of mental, of spiritual, and of law. So we'd have a recreational centre where we can recreate you, and we would be looking for others that might want to join upon this venture. We've got a sizable amount initially being given to the trust. I've got to be careful what I say on a public cast, but I need to give you enough, and I'm keeping the benefactor very private. But there's been an offer for some help in the form of energy promises, and we've agreed, the admins and I, and this very kind benefactor that stepped forward. We've got an agreement in place where we're going to work forward, and we've got some opportunity to invest a lot of time and energy into more of this, what I've shown you, what Anders, I echo what Anders has just said, to develop the courses, to move up a level, go from the bronze to the silver. And I would like to do more interviews, more hangouts, podcasts, and develop what we're developing there. And it's yeah, it's not to be sniffed at, to be fair. We've prayed and asked the universe, we've inwardly projected, we outwardly attract. So somebody's been watching and looking at others and ourselves, and they've said that they feel that it's right to come to us and say, well done, you know, thank you, fist bumps. They need some help in some areas. We're able to provide that. And initially we were going to get some land. We were going to buy some land. We were looking at buying land, but when the admins and I had a chat, that's how big the offer of the, you know, the donation is. And we've paused that for the time being, because if we obtain some land, then we're going to need to develop it. We're going to need to put water, power, and then put up some temporary structures to obviously have an area for a park, a sovereign park, if you want to call it that. The establishment of the new Republic of Brighton in itself, treaties of peace and independence, you know, announcements of, formally move forward. So we're at the stage now, as we get ready to close down this celebratory cast in itself, to say that we would like to offer others that may have some funds, more than a few euros or pounds credits. But if you've got some account somewhere, or you've got some assets that you could liquefy and then come to us and make a private agreement in trust with this other benefactor, and we can get others that have got some sizable amounts that they'd like to, you know, in this current climate of finance, bullion uncertainty, crypto uncertainty, future uncertainty, we'd look to get some land, and you know, you would be the owners. It would be put into trust. You would be the settlors, and the trust would be the beneficiaries as such, and we'd appoint trustees separately to the grantor, the settlor, the beneficiaries and trustees, and it would be locked off and looked after, so nobody could be running off or, you know, holding a hippie commune on it full of ganja plants and 24/7 parties. That's not what we're saying at all. But we've got somebody that's come across and has given them, you know, time, love and energy to us to say, how do you feel? What could you do with an offering of? And you know, we've said yes, and then we've said no to the land purchase at the moment. We'd like to develop this, you know, trust, my capability, get a, you know, a bit of a proper backdrop in, some microphones, continue the interviews, continue the development of the digital foundation educational trust. And I'm going to be carrying on this message and repeating it on other channels and domains, and saying that we'd like to invite others that have some energy, promises, credits, or even if you've got some land and it's a sizable amount, then perhaps we can invest on that land and build up from that. If we could have a fixed term of some years to actually establish a recreational rejuvenation private area and move forward and assist you with anything you may need assisting with, or if it goes well, we may end up with several tens of thousands in addition to what we've been offered, tens of thousands. It's that big a donation. So we've put a pin in that for the time being, and we've taken a small donation, but it's not even small. I don't want to tell you how much it is, but it's a massive amount, the biggest we've ever been offered. So it's a time in this moment just to say, others that may want to start, you know, charity starts at home, and we'd like to start the charity off in a whole different way, move direction and establish somewhere with the land, you know, titles and deeds in trust, and expand upon what's already been offered. So we could get some land, but what's been offered would get some land, but I don't know if it'd be able to, it'd be sufficient enough to develop and start without further others coming in, further support from others and investments. So if you've been wondering what to do with your savings and you've got some, or you're looking at perhaps liquidizing some assets, whatever they may be, property in a broad term, then perhaps you might want to come along and email contact@splspro.com, or go to our domain splspro.com, and the links will be put into the video afterwards. You can come to chat to us in our public Telegram group. If you're on the domain, you can find our private Telegram chat group, which is exclusive to the private supporters. You can talk to me in confidence, privately in email, and then you can be invited into our private chat that we have, and we can work forward with regards to the future. We're doing this for the sons and daughters of this land, the princesses and princes of this land. We're obviously doing it for ourselves, but we've got a long-term plan. So we've had the opportunity to buy some land, and we've put a pin in that for now, and we're going to continue to promote this idea and to look for others that have got some credits. Basically, you don't need to be Anglo based. You could send it from a foreign landmass, and you can be involved in it and partner up with, you know, not partnership, but you can form an alliance then with us, and you can still have the rights and titles that you would have as if you was physically here. So it's not limited just to Anglo benefactors or anybody with some energy and funds to give. It's limited to nothing. It's unlimited, and we are very happy and honoured to have had this trust put in us, the recognition of all the years that what we've been doing as this channel, as the SPLS Pro Foundation Education Trust that was set up in 2015, some 6 years ago. Okay, so this hasn't happened overnight. It's taken a lot of time and hard work, and we're finally getting some recognition, some trust, some acknowledgement, and the universe, I believe, trusts us. You trust us. We are still here despite the the tribulations and the woes. Those that share with us in our failures will be the ones to share with us in our triumphs. So there's been those that have come and gone, and there's been those that have been here for the original initial start, and there are newcomers. It doesn't matter whom you are, just recognize the fact that we now have a lot of options on the table, and I've got an opportunity to be behind the office for the next possibly 6 months solid, and doing what I do best, and managing and helping the admin team, the .com, working with G-Star, having interviews, broadcasts, and promoting the technologies that we've got and the way that we promote it and what we do. So if you're interested in that, you would go to our homepage. You'll find the links in the video description after this has been uploaded and finished, and you'll find my email to contact me. And then if you join the domain, you can talk to me direct, and then you can make contact with me privately, and we can put you in touch with myself, the admin mods, in a private, encrypted, secure, trust chat, and then we'd move forward that way. So if you've been wondering, or wanting to do something and you've been not sure, well, I think now is the time to make that decision. So if you have got, like I say, any of the above there, land, assets, promises, credits, income, not just a donation, but with a view for you to hold title and rights, and for us to allocate trustees with your permission and consent, and understanding, overstanding, innerstanding, and then the ones that would benefit would be those that we help on that landmass that would be owned by many and various settlors, and as a trust would own it. We'd have to form a trust, you see. I'm not going to give everything away, and you'd all be part of that trust, and that trust would then own and manage, and you would be written into it, and then we'd assign trustees that we all agree upon, and we'd then allocate the beneficiaries to another trust in itself, or those lawful individuals that are assigned. So we know what we're doing. I'll try not to give everything away, but trust is the key, and we're very honoured, and I'd like to say chin chin and much love for the.
Yeah, and we have a new service too here that we have to talk about. And that is, if you go into our website, then you can see that there is a calendar. And in that calendar, you can book 1 hour with David for £50. And that is a new service that we have for the listeners and those members here. And that's a good opportunity to get all your questions answered, and it's a more private way to do it.
Yes, we're very professional tonight. Thank you, Brother Anders. Yes, I'm getting overloaded with requests and telegram calls and messages and emails, and I've invested a lot of my private time and freely, mostly, to help and assist. And I'm getting to the point where I'm now, middle-aged, 43. I'm not going to comment on that. And yes, we need to do this professionally, structure it. We need to look at it in a different way, and we need to build up resources additionally for what Anders has just said and for what we've just shown you, and along the lines of. So if I can share the screen again for the domain, and what we do here is, when you are a supporter of SPLs, and you're logged in, you will go to the home page. You scroll down. Let's look at some of the news stories. Cummings tech shows Boris Johnson calling Matt Hancock totally helpless. I did enjoy putting that on the front page, and it's not funny what's going on there, but yes. This one, our children's social care system is a 30-year-old tower of Jenga held together with sellotape, simultaneously rigid and yet shaky. There are many professionals and services doing excellent work, but this report sets out the scale of the problems we face and the urgent need for a new approach. A review led by Mr. McAllister said, and that's, if I just click on there 1 minute, you've got the full story and the source here. All right, about how badly, Mark Russell, Chief Executive at the Children's Society, said this report lays bare the scale of the challenge ahead in order to reform a social care system which is letting down vulnerable children. So if you're wondering why we're here and what we do and why we're doing this, it's not to enrich or line or embezzle money and to run off to foreign countries and buy yachts and lay back smoking ganja and drinking beer whilst watching, whatever. It's not. We are at a fundamental point in time. Consciousness, the children, the government, the failures, the breaking of international law, the U-turns, the incompetence, the loss of trust, the loss of faith. All right, this system hamstrung by underinvestment, bureaucracy and artificial barriers, has serious systemic flaws, including a lack of understanding. You know, there's threats from outside the home and criminal and sexual exploitation, and we're at a crisis point. So there's the story and the reference source, localgov.uk, children's social care. We need help and you need help, our family needs help. So that's you go to the front page, they're all open, and search for that yourself. You roll to the bottom and you'd look here where it says bookings, and as I'm obviously logged in as the governor, I can click that. You can't see this because you're not actually logged in if you're new to us. And then you come to this header page, consultation bookings. It says welcome to SPLS Pro's private consultation booking page. Each hour required is subject to a £50 donation remuneration. Donations may be sent via the donation button on SPL's homepage, which is there at the top. It says donate in the middle, or by a private bank transfer to our trust account. You can email David at splspro.com for our trust bank account details. And then you come to this calendar, June, and there's white areas where it's got the date, 24th of June, 25th of June, 3 available, Sunday, 27th of June, the 4th of July. So then if they're not acceptable for you, you go through to July itself. A little clock will turn as it loads. And you can click on a day, any day. It says how many is available. And then it will, after thinking for a moment, it will display what is available, he says famously. And yeah, I believe my internet's a little slow. The site is extremely fast. Greg has done an excellent job on speeding it up. I have internet connectivity problems. They're private consultations, you know, there's no legal advice or any advice at all. It's informal private consultation, and you'd then select one that suits you and then go to book the appointment. So we're filling them up now. They're initially just for me, but maybe Sister Claire may join and work with us. We'll work together, not so much work as in the typical, we will join forces is a better way, terminology of putting that. And we'll get others on, such as myself and anybody else that may have something to offer that's got transferable skills that are useful for us at this critical cusp of resets, and many resets. So before we go into Aquarius and have another flood of sorts or a wash of energy and transfer of, we can privately, legally, lawfully, sort of say, not legally, but comparative to legal, we can lawfully, privately work and pool our resources and boycott the obfuscation, the supposition, the subjugation, the lies, the deceit, the legalese language, the non-disclosed agreements that are being put before us, and the corporations that are just profiting and milking money, sending it to offshore havens. So if that sounds like something good for you, there you go. On Sundays, I've put 4 in the afternoon every Sunday. You can choose 1 or 2 or whatever. So that's what Anders was on about there. We've added a new section, and we're trying to become more professional now and utilize the time. So the trust actually benefits, and we've done a lot for free over the years. So now we need to try to do it a different way. There's a lot of videos and information on Indi Glow, and we're on the Facebook trust there itself. So if you do need extra help, or you want something in a particular area, and it's not just with me, then email me, and then we'll look to see what we can do, and I can arrange that for you in the future. So happy days. A lot has happened. 637 supporters. So slowly it's climbing up. We're in year 4. So anybody that thinks, you know, we was in this to become millionaires or extremely rich, it's year 4, and we've got 637 so far. So that averages, you know, a few hundred, 2, 4, 6, 8, less than 200 a year, 130 something, roughly 150 something a year, just over. So it's taken its time to pick up, but now we're in a very strong place. That's your news update giveaway. 5,000 scribes celebration. What? I'm just going to look in the room and see what the comments are, gentlemen. All right. Let's go. So that was for Tilly, that DWP, as you're a channel supporter, and I will do some more videos and privately for my Indi Glow channel supporters, and you'll get them exclusively as I promised for your support and kind sharing of the promises. So I'm going to catch up in the room, Gansders and Phil, all right, and then we'll look at wrapping up. Hello to Simon, Christopher in Christ. EB says outstanding, brilliant. Thank you for the colloidal silver. Once again, you saved my life, EB. You're welcome. Thank you. That's what we do. Simple remedies. Not sure who EB is. It might be Brother Robert, but if not, if it's somebody else, then that's equally as pleasurable to hear. How would
you'd have to tell me more about the colloidal silver, David.
Yeah,
maybe not now.
All right, yeah, it's the world's most strongest antibiotic. I'm not giving medical advice, and I'm not allowed to, but based on the principality of what would we call them, elements, then it's silver itself was used in the medical profession. Research silver nitrate. Look for a man called Bob Becks on YouTube, and then look at the applied uses of that for infection types and preservation. The fact that my grandma used to tell me silver sixpences were put into dairy products. Okay, this is an old wives' tale from my old grandma back in the day when I was looking at coins and pound notes and stuff and currency at the age of 10-ish, 9, 10. And she said, David, we used to put, because I was like, silver, this is real, like, you know, pirate treasure, money that was made of silver. And she says she used to put that in milk and silver into creams and such things in the larder, down in the cellar or in the larder, the pantry outside or the pantry elsewhere, the slabs. They used to salt the meat, and they, before refrigerators, obviously, and the silver used to keep the bacteria levels low. So it's a well-known fact. The medical profession used to introduce silver nitrate into the bloodstream intravenously to help with infections, septicemia, blood infection. I'm not a doctor. I'm not just told you, I've disclaimed it, but these are facts. So the medical professions and the medical associations, the King's colleges know about this. You go to your local supermarket and look at plasters. They now contain, some of them, elements of silver in them. Why? Because they help you heal faster. Why? Because it's true what we say. So that's why Brother Bob Becks needs to be recognised as a local international hero, everyone's local hero, for his simple but effective remedying with you know, infections. But you need to be careful with it, because it can make your skin turn blue if you have too much particulates in the bloodstream. It can also kill your gut bacteria and put your body's biochemistry out of balance. There is a fine art to this. As with anything, you don't just pick something up and become an expert in it. When you're messing with, and this isn't at you, Phil, this is at everybody, when you're messing with your biomolecular energies and your bio in itself, you know, your I can't think of the exact terminologies now because I've said that much across different areas, but the bio inside you and the you know, the cultures that you have in your gut keeps your whole body healthy amongst many other areas. Your gut is the key to health. So if you mess up the balance of that by putting foreign metals in there, and too much of them, and you don't look after yourself and reintroduce cultures and keep a healthy diet, then it could make you worse. It could turn your skin blue. So yeah, you know, you need to know what you're doing before you start messing with it. A little light application inside the mouth won't do much harm at all. You know, it will do more benefit than good. for cuts and bruises and burns. A little light application at night time in the dark away from the sun will help tremendously. But if you start drinking 250 ml of it regular and putting it into your system, then you're going to be in trouble after a week of that. It's like when you drink distilled water. When you totally distill it all, then you need to put in the minerals and the salts and the magnesiums back in. Otherwise, you're going to be depleted of those precious elements and minerals that come along with that. So,
but it's actually better to not drink the colloidal silver. It is better to breathe it in with the help of an atomizer, because then you will always keep your stomach bacteria.
That's right. Well said. Well echoed. Yeah, man.
No, interesting stuff. I'm glad you guys are into this. I'm sort of very interested in it.
Self-governing, self-repairing, self-interesting, medicating, self-everything, because we cannot trust what's going on out there anymore. We've lost the trust, we've lost the confidence, and you want out doing right, do it yourself, as the old adage goes there. G-Man's got a question as I move down the chat room. How would a single dad on your landmass move up the council's ladder for more suitable accommodation as lives in one bed and offspring, early teens? It's kind of a complicated question. I don't know what you mean, reference your landmass, but move up the council's ladder for more suitable accommodation is a system. You use the rules to the system. If you're in a one bed and there's offspring in early teens, then there's got to be regulations and human rights there. So G-Man, get in touch with me and we will talk about that. You're a long time scribe, so I'll promise to help you. Others in the chat room perhaps can answer him as well. Albert says, what is case law as well? Common law. Yeah, case law is something that's recognised, and once it's been tried and heard and done and held in the favour, it stops us and you from having to go through the machine and going through to put a claim, because once you mention case law to somebody who's denying your rights, then if they do not acknowledge and give you what you are due and fix the situation, then they know that that case law can be used against them, whatever area of office, legal, commercial realm it is. That's a precedent, not a president, but a precedent, however you say it, whatever landmass you're on. So as a precedent has been made in law, you reference that and you hold them to account. So then the court case doesn't need to happen again because it's already happened and they've ruled upon it.
Here in Sweden, we are calling it prejudicate. Prejudicate. That's when it comes up something that will claim that it's going to be like this from now, you know.
Oh yeah. Right, my brother, thank you for that. Dripping in case law. Yes, we are. EB says absolutely astonishing, and I'd love someone to help me. 23rd, 22 now. Poisoning by the NHS, currently on my 15th load of antibiotics, and they've fractured my jaw trying 9 teeth removed. Oh Lord, apologies for that on behalf of. Sounds awful. Fairness is beautiful. Shattered. Stephen's gone to bed. I didn't know you was here, brother Stephen, but thank you, and hope you see us on the replay. EB subscribed. Jerry, that is what is meant when they say private-public partnership scam. That's he's on about the agencies with DWP. I reckon they're siphoning off the beneficiaries' money, sanctioning, and how that works out for the corporate side, but not so much for the benefit of the general, the public, the taxpayer, the benefit claimant, aka the beneficiary. Just heard this, David. Do you need a bricklayer? Yes, Stephen, you're going to be important when we get some land in the near future. We do need bricklayers, plumbers, sparkies, first fixers, second fixers, people that are chippies, all of that. Prepare, because it's happening. Sometime, 6 months on will be December, so Crimbo time. forgive me for saying that, Xmas time, the festive season of December, we will be hopefully another 1,000 scribes strong after the work that I'm about to do and the promotions, and we will wait to the universe to provide more of the same. Okay, so comment about the bull run, bulls, Taurian, going into the astro-theological meanings of money. Crypto has a bull run. Gold is bull ion. The Leiden Bulla in the Vatican, bulls being important there. There is also another place, Baalbek, Baal, B-A-A-L, and then you've got Lebanon, Middle East, and you've got a place called Baalbek. All right, so the bull is still prevalent. It has been prevalent. Moses coming down from Mount Sinai, smashing the clay tablets of the law from the great I am on the floor when he saw the Israelites worshipping the bulls that they'd built. So Taurus is obviously indicative of the bull, and Baal worship and Baalbek. So
And the papal bulls.
and yeah, the bulla papilla, as they say in Italy, but they're known, aka commonly known as the papal bulls, the papacy. Well said, Gangsters. Chippy says, Chippy Paul asking for chippies. Chippy Paul in the comments. Congratulations to David and all at SPLS Pro. I think that's on all fronts, as well as the initial case law reference I've done. And I think he's commented there with regards to a sizable donation from a benefactor to help us move forward. So thank you, Chippy. EB says they're rather handy, like Raimi is qualified, so if you need, I'm always here to help, protect and serve per se. Respect and thank you. Barnster's in the house. Great news with the donations. Ask and ye shall receive. Gospel of St. Thomas, seek and ye shall find, comes to mind, yes.
Yeah, we're going there. We are really close now. So we need support from everybody now, because this is going to be magic.
It is indeed. Read Anders. Biblical. Let's do that. Shrink me down. I'll try and put it on gallery view a minute. I think it only puts 2 of the 3 on, but we'll try it. 6119. You will notice wherever they throw at whatever they throw at us, we are still here. It is not a coincidence. Andy, 1, 2, 3. Dave, love man. Bless up. Much love to you all. Love is the key. Mr. Dav has a oneer for Dave and a oneer for Kev. Still no bank either, so need to drop by your area or post to you. I think I sent you a message, Mr. Dav, on Telegram, and I gave you a phone number. So get in touch this week. I'm about, so we'll make sure we get in touch and we'll make that happen. Thank you very much. Anton Carpenna says, I will contact you, David, but I don't know what that's in reference about. So thank you, Anton, if you're still here. Robert Barker. Oh, that's the man that actually said we saved his life with silver water. That's who it is. I can confirm it works magic and has saved lives. So there's no medical advice, and these are private opinions. And the man came to the first sob fest that we had in Oxford, and he had a ballooned area of his body, and he was told by the medical institution that it wasn't good and that he didn't have long to live. His words, not mine. And we gave him, Kevin gave him silver water, Smithy gave him silver water, and so did I. And then he went and treated himself, Sheffield speak, and he's still here and he's better. So work out of that what you want. So thank you, Robert. Good to see you. Your testimonies are what carries weight, not what we say, what you say. So Chip is very willing to wave his hammer and flex his saw when needed. Bless up. Thank you, brother. Mr. Dav. can felt, batten, tile slate, do the muck work and lead fashing and valleys. Oh, wow. This is like the Waltons meets, I don't know, the A-Team meets Amnesty International meets, you know, something like that. Donation coming from Andy 123, only small, but all count. Thank you very much, Andy. Canaan, meaning merchant, seafarer, admiralty, traders, pirates, canon law, symbols, the bull, Baal, bell, skull and bones, ex-child, sacrifice, Bar-by-lon, gate to the gods. Whoa! Thank you, 6119. Thank you all. This has been a tremendous 2-week welcome back. 5,000 scribes, celebration, giveaway, news update, dripping in case law, dripping in alchemy, dripping in love. Oh, how have you enjoyed it, Phil and Gansders? My wingmen. Phil's actually on a call, so okay, we'll leave that. Gansders has left the room and is on mute, so I'll speak to me sen. Andy, you contact me and you do a bank transfer, or you go and use the PayPal on the homepage. So if you want the details for the bank, we'll get the full amount from a private bank transfer to the trust account, and PayPal will give us about 95% of it, as they are commercial merchant bankers and take a slice of the pie. So yeah, go to the homepage and scroll down to the bottom of splspro.com, and then contact me via an email or press that donate button. Anton, funding. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Anton. Bless up. Yes, come on. It's moving. It's on. And we're still giving mostly 95% of everything away. The technicalities, you know, with regards to trusts need further support for you, and outlining more courses and higher levels will be given in amongst you know, the bronze key competence. The Facebook domain has got a lot of the files for you. Our Telegram group has got 300 and something in there in the public domain, souls for you to chat to. We put the files in there, so you've got a lot for free with regards to everything there. We're still going to continue with interviews, broadcasts and outlays. There was something else I was going to say with regards to, but yeah, we give you a free last will and testament. We show you about powers of attorney. We keep you in honor. We keep you with clean hands. We dispel the myths regarding the Freeman, Magna Carta, practical lawful dissent, constitutional argumentations, and we've got lots of skin in the game, and we've got a lot under our belt. We've got your testimonies coming in that we're asking for. We're doing well. Kevin and Graham's technology is doing well with the DWP, mandatory reconsiderations, tribunals, a lot that go through the process that Kevin and Graham have outlined, get their reinstatement of credits, benefits as the beneficiary. They're keeping it in-house. They're playing a very, very naughty game at the minute. They're denying rights to justice in some ways, the way that they move it. So, you know, there's a lot to reference for what we do and how we do it, and we give quite a lot away for a minimal amount. So a lot of you are saying that the 12 credits are very, very cheap, and that we should ask for more. But it's a methodology that we try to cater for the lower class and the working. You know, even though the middle class wouldn't really need, well, they would, because they're eradicating the middle class. So there's working, lower working into one, and higher class. So there are pay brackets between those massive ones. You know, I think it's £28,000 to is working class. Middle class is up to 28 to 40 something thousand, and above 40 something thousand upwards is your higher class. So you know, that you've got your lower class, which is basically the homeless, the poor, and such things as, and up to 28, Priti Patel's words, not mine, regarding immigration. You know, the lower class, we've explained the working class all the way, you know, minimum amount is £28,000 you need to earn, or you're classed as being in some kind of poverty according to the Home Office, Priti Patel's own words. So we've got, we've got a lot of parameters here we need to sort out and help with, which is why we say £12 credits, promises, the fiat, for the year. So we know it's worth more, and then we know we could capitalize and make more on that, but it would be unethical, and the clean hands part would be then muddied. So this is why it's taking so long. But it's worth it in the long term. So yeah, feel free to share this video, share the good news, take it and pass it on, introduce us to your friends, your family, your loved ones, tell them where we are. Come back later, and on the video description you'll have all the links that are required for, and Telegram, private domain. The private domain you can link to the public Facebook trust. We have a presence there. We don't really use Facebook that much, but we need to say hello, recognize a lot are on there that need our help. So it's a useful platform in the form of promotions and making a presence. But that's not our primary contact. Encrypted Telegram public chat, encrypted Telegram exclusive SPL's pro chat, and then updates through Tube, which is a Google military platform. So it's as equally as bad as Facebook. And then our private foundation educational trust. I'd like you to go to Community Indie page and look at the interview I had with Beth Martens last Friday, and review that, please. And then there's another video I had 2 weeks ago with Beth and Matt Belair, which was my first interview and hello on that channel. So thank you very much. Sorry for the blurred camera. That's it's very, very bad. I'm very upset about that. I was trying to make it better. You look at the screen and think you're drunk. I think Phil's on a call, and I believe Gangsters has disappeared. So
I'm here.
are you back? Oh, sorry. Right.
Yeah.
'23, 23, 11, 11. Then we can look at wrapping it up there, and just check the chat room. Lower class, one paycheck from homeless. Yes, indeed. Yeah, got 25 thumbs up, 28 in the house. Started streaming 111 minutes ago. I think that's done the job, hasn't it, fam? You want to say any final words, brother Gangsters?
All I want to say is that everything is going one way now, and it's going up. So we are going to fix everything, but with the help of the members and the listeners here, we can make it so much quicker with the help of some donations. So it's all a team game here, that we have to do it together. We can't sit and wait for David to fix everything. We can always do something too, and we should. That's my final words.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, bro. Yeah, it is a family effort. We try and do it the best we can, and we're on a shoestring to some extent. So we try to prove who we are, what we are. We do what we do and why we do it, and how best you are to consider articulating lines of defense, why you would want to do that or consider that. And you will let you decide. We tell you nothing, and we try to give you the substance over the form. Thank you, brother. That's yeah, well needed, well said. Can I get the link? Thank you to all the admins as well that aren't here, that may watch on the replay, to G-Star, everybody else. I'm on the wrong channel. Let me just get the link and I'll put it in now for you as well. The last interview I had with Sister Beth, words matter. The way she picked me up on what she said was truly humbling as well. I think she was quite pleasantly surprised by that interview there. That's SPLS Pros, just put that in. I've just given you the link. Thank you to Albert for that link as well for the data protection course from the University of Derby. The Blue Man Group, SIEB. Yeah. And we're done then. That's it, game over. Insert more coins. Next level.
Erase and rewind.
Rewind selector. Re-E-Y. SPL say bro. Pro selector.
Yeah, thank you very much and good night.
No, that's up. Thank you.
Take care and to everybody out there listening too, you know, that's the foundation of all this, the listeners.
We live as one family. Yes, I.
Yeah, good night. I'm logging out. Love you all. Bless.
Yes, I. Thank you, Gansters. All right, then. We'll speak tomorrow in the usual places and we'll say good night. God bless. Creator bless. One love. See you soon, Bud and Moon. Phil, we're getting off. All right, brother. We'll speak soon. Much love. Ciao, bello.